super excited to see you here this morning with the Lumberjack. We are live, and it is a fantastic day to be a real estate investor. As always, you know my trusty phone is next to me because I'm a self-managing landlord. Believe what you will, that can be a crazy thing. And so I think the crazy thing about this is that, I'm always working, sort of. But anyway, what I wanted to talk to you guys about was 50% more rents on your Section 8. So everyone would sit there and go, oh, this is clickbait. Oh, it's clickbait. Well, then you don't know anything about my channel, but welcome, because I don't do clickbait. Not really worth my time. And so what we try and do is we try and actually, lessons learned, we try and share those lessons. So here is what the lesson is that is learned. So everybody knows, or if you don't, then this is why you're here on this channel. Everybody knows that the Section 8 actually prices everything out on a standard. It is called the HUD.gov FMR. It stands for Fair Market Rents. So every single market has a fair market rent number associated with it. And so when you look at that fair market rent and what's associated with it, I'll actually show you guys what this looks like live. Let's see. So we are going to go to this tab right here. So we're going to share this tab. So you guys can see this tab, and this is for one of my markets. As you guys see here, FMR for 2024. So see how these things increased? Yeah, so I guess I was kind of right in investing in that market and understanding how they did FMR rents. So as we look at this, right, and this is an all-in number. This is all utilities. This is all everything. Here's how you get that 50% more than even FMR says. And here's how it's structured. There is something called, and I just want to double check, make sure I have the name right, because this was something that, again, it's another acronym. If you guys work with these programs at all, you know that it's one of those crazy things where, again, see, people just blowing up my phone. You know I'm busy. They know I'm doing a thing. But as we look at it, there's something called SRO. That's right, SRO, single room occupancy. So single room occupancy is where you actually can approach the housing voucher specialists that you know, or me personally, I like to go to the director of housing for that market. I go to the director of housing and say, I'd like to understand how many one-bedroom vouchers you currently have not being used. That means that they've awarded the person a voucher, but that person that has the voucher has not been able to use it yet because they haven't, in fact, found a single room or efficiency or something like that. So the cool thing about this approach is that very often, tenants can find the 2-bedroom units, the 3-bedroom units, the 4-bedroom units. 4 bedrooms are kind of tough because there's usually not a lot of inventory there, and that's usually going to be a single family house, unless it's a duplex like I have. I specialize in large unit duplexes. It's one of the many specialties. But as we look at this process, you can see right here on your screen, you see a 1-bedroom voucher in my area, all in is $1,582. And for just, you know what, I'm going to actually pull out a calculator. So we have $1,582 is what they pay on a 1-bedroom voucher all in. When they pay that amount on the 1-bedroom voucher all in, that is all utilities, that's everything included. But you can approach that director of housing for that housing authority, and you can ask them, how many unused vouchers do you have? I can tell you that, and it's not specific to this town, but I can tell you, I've spoken with a number of directors of housing, and I can tell you one of the toughest things for them to fill is efficiency units and 1-bedrooms. The challenge on a landlord side is that that's true because there is a lot of demand for those 1-bedroom units. And the challenge that you have is that they go for well over usually what FMR is. So that starts the rub. So the challenge for me is I'm likely not to rent to a Section 8 tenant on a unit like that, on a 1-bed unit, because market is higher than what Section 8 will pay. And it's about 15% higher. So very often when people apply, we allow them to apply, but they don't hit the income requirements. They don't hit the rental requirements because they have to be able to pay the rent, and we're not going to reduce our rent to meet it with a voucher. However, in the constant quest that I have of always trying to find a smarter, better, easier way of doing things, I've been calling around and talking to a number of these housing department directors and asking them again, how many units do you have? How many one-bedroom and efficiency units do you have that are currently not being used? Because that voucher is awarded to the person based on their circumstance. And so in having this conversation, they do have a concept of something called an SRO, a single room occupancy. It's just like it sounds. It's basically room hacking or house hacking. However, you're not the one actually hacking the house. You're actually allowing the renter to essentially hack the house. But here's the cool part, and here's where it then starts to make fiscal sense for us as landlords to consider this, is that as an example, if you were to get two people on an SRO, meaning that they're going to share the common space, but they're both going to use their voucher, you can combine the vouchers. That's the magic. You can combine the vouchers. So this is not a forced to thing. This is much more working with your housing specialist, having the conversation with them to say, hey, I'd like to understand, is there anybody on your list that would consider an SRO? And they would say, you know what? That's my job. I'll reach out to all these people on an SRO and see if anybody's interested. Because what they do in an SRO process, they don't bump you up to a 2-bedroom. They actually let you use the 1-bedroom voucher for each person. Thus, the math. $2,003. But what we first have to do is we have to take the 1,582 times 2, and then, and then that is $3,164 minus, oops, I just put a multiple there. We don't want that. Well, we kind of do, but we can't get it. Minus the $2,003, and you have a $1,161 difference on a $2,000 unit. Guess what? That is more than a 50% increase in the rent that you're getting for that same unit. Now, the reason that they're able to do this is, one, because of the housing crisis. They need to make sure to get people into units. Two, the reason that they're able to combine them is that aforementioned piece, but also these people are waiting and they're not getting their vouchers. They're likely going to lose their vouchers. I've talked to some housing authority that literally have dozens of 1-bedroom vouchers. They have to keep on extending them, but then they hit a hard date where they can no longer extend that voucher. So they can literally go to these people and say, listen, your voucher expires in 30 days. And then you're put at the bottom of the list. You're not put in the beginning of the queue. You're put at the bottom of the list, which means you're up for another multi-year wait. Would you rather? And here's the best part. It gets them into a house now today, number one. Number two is it carries their voucher with them. That way, when finally a 1-bedroom unit opens up, guess what? They're able to port and move their voucher to that new unit. This is a fantastic way for landlords to meet the demand of the system. This is a fantastic way to help get people housed, but also get a higher return on your investment. There's nothing wrong with everybody winning. The housing authority wins because another person's housed or another 2 people are housed that weren't being housed previously. This helps out the tenant because their other option was go to the bottom of the list, wait another 3.5 years for their name to come up, and maybe then there's going to be 1-bedrooms they can afford. Probably not. Based on inflation, probably not. So they're likely just going to get on the list again, and then it's going to be another year. They could literally die with a voucher, not ever being able to enact that voucher. This is a very real concern for me. They applied for the program because they needed it. We have to, as landlords, start thinking outside the box, doing more, and exploring other opportunities. But that's why you come and watch The Lumberjack Landlord. Let's face it, that's why you're here. You're here to learn amazing things like this. So again, you've never heard this anywhere else, but you've heard it here because I spend a ton of time looking and creating strategies for how to best get return on my capital, but also how to best help the housing crisis that we have. What is the best way? Before all you troll idiots jump into my stream and you actually say, oh, you can stop buying properties. Hey, listen, I buy multifamily properties. Are you going to buy them? Is anybody else shopping for them other than other investors? No. So be on your way. And if you feel like dropping stupid in the comments, I'm more than happy to oblige because you know what? I'm retired. I got the time. But as we look at these types of programs, what's really most critical is we're serving all of the needs of everybody. We're able to get more money for the asset. We're able to get people housed, and put them in a place where they can stay as long as they need to. If they don't find a one bedroom that comes available in 1, 2, 3, 4 years, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But it puts you in a unique position and a unique scenario to help out somebody that's otherwise going to lose their voucher. So I would submit to you that based on these numbers, again, this is more than 50%, but it doesn't just work from a one bedroom to a two bedroom SRO, single room occupancy. It also works for 3. Here are the numbers again. $1,500, or your option is $2,557. Well, the $2,557, it's very, very simple. It's the $1,582 times 3, because now it's a 3-bedroom, which gives you $4,746 minus $2,557 equals $2,189. Now, is it a 50% increase? Nope, it's actually a lot more than that. This is more like a 75% or 80% increase. I don't know. It's sounding pretty good to me. We'll actually give you the exact math because it's 2,557, which is, it's an 85.6% increase. 85.6%. All you need to do is put thank you in the live stream, guys. This is crushing it. This is how we do it. Now, is it going to be work to coordinate? Yes. Is it going to be a time frame? Yes. Could you be vacant for 60 days? Yes. It's all of those things. But we need to help the system. We need to help the process. And how do we do that? It's by working with the rules that they have in place that allow us to help out more tenants. Admittedly, I can't rent out a one bedroom in my market with everything included for $1,582. I get $1,600 with nothing included. Nothing. And that's on the cheap side. I get $1,600 up to $2,200, $2,100 with nothing included. $2,100, nothing included. That's how powerful this market is around us because there's such a limited supply. And again, I'm not sitting with units vacant, nor should I. I'm literally putting the number out there that the market will bear, and somebody is actually, you guessed it, they're doing it. So I will stop sharing this now. As soon as I can figure out how to stop sharing. So hopefully that was helpful to you guys. But yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, you know, the most important thing, you guys can let me know in the comments if it actually stopped sharing. Sorry, new to the product. Let me know if this actually is. So again, I think this is something that, yeah, I mean, might change your investment looking a little bit. Now, here's the cool thing. There is likely a thing in your city, in your town, that renting out by the room is not possible. Check with your local authorities. But I gotta believe if the government's approving this, then, you know, I mean, it's kind of, are they allowing something that's illegal in other cities and states? Be talking to your HCV specialist. Be talking to your housing authority. This is something that you cannot let sit by. I've talked to you guys for a very long time. You must diversify your portfolios. Even if you only have 6 units or 4 units, not buildings, units, you should be looking at diversification. You should not be hiring everybody that works at Amazon, as an example, everybody that works at, you know, Bank of America. You shouldn't be having a tenant pool only from the exact same businesses. When you bring on tenants from exactly the same companies because, oh, I got this easy referral, I got that easy referral. If they have a layoff, you could be losing 20, 30, 40% of your rent like that because that business either downsized, laid a bunch of people off. Any number of things could possibly happen. So this is why you guys come to the Lumberjack Landlord, because we drop gold like this. And we've done our research. We do the work. We talk to the different programs and understand what they're trying to do. Wait until you see what I've got coming for you in the next couple of weeks. It's free money to be able to rehab your units. Yeah, you got it. So, as I always say, we try and create great content for you. Please make sure that you hit the like button. You downsize this, you hit that like button, you come back in, you ask your questions, because I'm going to answer your questions now. But make sure that you come in and talk about it. Let's get this group going. Let's have some fun. Anyway, Lumberjack Landlord, let's get into the questions. Oh my goodness, you loaded me up. That's all right. It's okay. Nazik Hook, good morning. You had mentioned some time ago you use particular vendor for your kitchen cabinets. Please mention the vendor and referral code. I won't mention the vendor because I wholesale their cabinets. And the only way that you can get access through my pricing is if you're in my course, because we get a ton of requests and I don't want to run a cabinet company. What we actually do, or cabinet company per se, what we actually do is we allow that for our boot camp students, and it saves them more than a couple $1,000 a kitchen usually. But we do that for them because we have a very distinct and special and specific process that caters to them. So if you want access to the cabinets, the only way to get access is be in the boot camp. And then you can ask anybody on here. Dion's done cabinets with us. CJ Underwood's done cabinet with us. There's a bunch of people that have done cabinets with us. But anyway, you'll see that there's a whole bunch of people that have done cabinets, and they'll certainly be able to pop that on here. Old guy REI, good morning, Frank. Good to see you, my friend. Good morning, Matt. Thank you, Chester. Good morning, Tony. Anxious to learn. Hopefully this was helpful to you, Frank. I believe it should be. Hope everyone in Tornado Alley is okay. Yes, I agree completely. Fire and Ice. Great boot camp last night with the group. Absolutely fantastic to spend time with you guys. We were in boot camp for 3 hours. I missed my entire Bruins playoff game. Oh my goodness. But I watched the highlights with my son this morning. We watched the elongated highlights, like the 12, 15-minute version. That way we can actually get the experience. Great game. Luke Devine, I heard of that if someone is looking to co-sign for an FHA loan, there must be an ADU on the property. Is that true to your knowledge? Is it a state-by-state thing? That does not sound true at all. That doesn't sound true at all. And in fact, FHA wouldn't be a state thing. FHA is federal. Yep. Federal housing. Yeah. Federal. Yep. Richard Gamino, good morning. Good morning, sir. Trade Better, good morning. Lumberjack fan, good morning. Good to see you. What are some of the reasons that you've seen that led to a decrease in annual Section 8 allotment? There wasn't. I don't know where that's being said, but it just is not true. That program has expanded. That program was 100% expanded. There's not been contraction. There has been not enough creation of vouchers based on the demand. That has been the biggest issue. That's been the biggest issue. It's not been anything else. It's been that. So that program has expanded from about 2 million vouchers 4 years ago to about 2.4 million vouchers now. That's not a shortcut. If you're talking about the actual prices, then that, I think, is something that's suspect in the individual markets. As you saw on the list that I shared, it's nowhere near. Everything has gone up a ton. Our numbers, as you saw, went up 15, 20%. They went up a lot. The Bruins did win, Chester. They crushed. It was awesome. You guys able to see me okay? I just want to make sure that everything you guys are able to see everything okay, because I stopped the share. Wanted to make sure you guys can still see everything, so I'll keep on going off the first. Yes, we can see you. Not that I want you to be able to see me, but just it's better than just talking. Martin Properties, who's your go-to insurance company after all these years of investing? Great question. Local. Got to go local. I don't go national. As you get larger, some of the big guys, yep, loud and clear. Thank you, Chester. Some of the big guys try and push you to these massive multinational carriers or these massive carriers like Chubb and things like that. Oh my word. Their pricing was ridiculous. I got their pricing on one of my buildings. It was $6,800 a year with all the same criteria. We don't change up the criteria to get a favorable number from one versus another. And they were well into the sixes. And then somebody, I think we ended up buying it at $2,200. 64 versus 22. I don't know. I'm doing too quick. Yeah, don't do the 64. Let's see. At yesterday's boot camp, it was mentioned that wood filler was going to be used on stairs. I think you have to have a special type of wood filler to account for movement. You do, but I think it actually wasn't on the stairs. It was actually where the trim meets the stairs. That's why for me, if I'm doing something over that size, I'm probably putting something into that space and I'm using like a caulking with silicone in it. So there's a level of elasticity. So I do agree with you for sure. Senya, good morning. Really excited for today's topic. Hopefully I delivered exactly what you wanted to see. Mandy, good morning. Dion, there's my buddy. Good to see you. Oh my goodness. As retired as I am, Dion and I are really busy. It's crazy. We're going to try and get back on doing weekly live streams because I miss doing them for you guys, but we want to do them together. It's just been nuts with trying to get taxes wrapped up, audit wrapped up, managing two $1 million project, and then which is the jail, and then another project which is I've got on 5 bedrooms or 5 units. But yeah, really busy, crazy, but it's awesome. Jason Calcimetta, good morning. Good morning, Hyder. Good morning, Matt. Boot camp, great boot camp last night. You really offended me. That's what I was there for. So the good news is, yeah, boot camp was 3 hours long. We just say 2 hours because we want to under promise and over deliver. But dude, it's a lot. It's a lot. We went 3 hours last night. HUD FMRs, thanks very much for posting that there, Chester. Good wealth building journey. Laura Samaniego, good morning. Brett Beesball, good morning. BuzzTube, good morning. Boot camp next level last night. Mikey, I agree. Thank you very much, sir. Good morning, Laura. Yes, awesome. Hey, BuzzTune, that's the group. We love it. Anna K, good morning. Matt and everyone, good morning. Hit the like button for a 50% raise, or at least how to learn to get a 50% raise. I know I do all this work and provide all this value and detail to you guys and then tell you exactly how to do it. And you can't even give me a free like up. I can't even hit the like button. It costs you nothing. Come on, do me a favor. Hit that like. We got to get this thing in for the algorithm. We got to start helping out more landlords that can help other people. Everyone's like, oh, landlords, greedy landlords. Don't want to go out to those greedy landlords. Give me a break. We provide a service, you dummy. And if you don't use it, somebody else is gonna. Jackasses. Good morning to all. John B., if Section 8 is tax funded, are you not enriching yourself off taxpayers? I am a taxpayer. It's the cycle. Enriching myself. The other option is that those people can go homeless. Make sense, John? Should we make those people homeless? Should we just say, hey, we provided you, we have a voucher that you can use, but it's only if it fits just this exact thing, but the program is allowing that. The program is allowing that. If you don't like it, scram. Don't be a landlord. John B. Dipstick. Financial firefighter. Aloha. Good morning. Aloha means hello. Enriching off of taxpayers. Hey, bro, I pay far more a year in taxes than you do, if that helps you. Nothing is tax funded. True story. That's correct. Let's have higher speak. Nothing is tax funded. The parasite would not limit itself like that. Exactly. Every fiscal is a credit funded. Taxes are only a way to eliminate credit in the system. There is no allocation of tax dollars. I mean, Hyder, everybody. 85.6% ROI. I'd say that's pretty good. Not bad, right? You get it all for the massive price of a thumbs up. I don't know. Welcome. Ray Cliff, dropping jewels. I'm very excited to work with this dude in the next few weeks. You guys should be checking out his channel. We're going to do some collab stuff in the coming months. So I'm excited to do that with him. I like his stuff. I like the cut of his jib, and we're going to go do some fun stuff together. John Calcimetta, good morning, Chester, and everyone else. Yep, good morning, guys. Good morning. Brett Beesbauer, yep, good morning. Good morning. Elizabeth R., good morning. Would this work for group homes? So it only works if they actually have a voucher. They have to have a Section 8 voucher. But if they have a Section 8 voucher, then it absolutely is something that you can leverage. The issue is that they have to be able to, they get to approve it. This is not a forced thing. I just want to give the housing authority another option. Hey, you're going to lose your voucher. Do you want to have a roommate? No. Fine. Your voucher's gone in 60 days unless you find another single bedroom. This at least bides them time. I'm not saying it has to be the strategy forever, but it at least bides them time to not lose their voucher. Then their voucher's at work. Then if they find a 1-bedroom, boom, they move into the 1-bedroom. That's why they don't take away the voucher. That's the purpose. So, all-nighter, John B. Fractional reserve lending and funding is just a myth. It's all about credit creation. Good question. All right. HCV, housing choice voucher. That is correct. Good morning, Josh Burdick and all other housing providers. Fairnelly, so I could, in theory, get $6,000 for a 4-bed in Nashua with this MAD, unrelated persons rule by square foot, and I have enough. Yes, the issue is that you have to get housing in that area to come up with 4 people that would be willing to use this approach. Again, this isn't forced. This is more providing a service, just like we do everywhere else in our business. It's about providing that service. But yeah, the idea is you can go to them and you can say, I'm interested, and their technical term for this is SRO. I provide an SRO, and I'm looking for 4 people to move into an SRO as I have a 4 unit. Then that's what the number is. It's just that simple. And I've double and triple checked this. I've talked to multiple housing people on this. They said this is how it works because they need to be able to leave. Let's say after the first year lease is done, they need to be able to leave and go into another unit with their 1-year voucher, with their 1-bedroom voucher fully intact. How do you find that people will get along? I rent out to roommates all the time. That's where 4 and 5 bedrooms go in. It certainly isn't for families. Families can't afford a $3,300 a month 4-bedroom. They cannot. They can't. So it's always roommates. That's what pushes the price up. Because I will have $400,000 worth of income going into a 5-bedroom house. Literally everybody making $80,000 to $100,000. But they're just getting out of school. They want to see how the job goes. They're already living with their roommates, blah, 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 blah. They want to see what it's like when they start getting their school bills. Pucker up, buttercup. Shouldn't be that much fun. Sorry, I got to probably move this back over here. But this is where this stuff comes into a challenge, right? Is that it's not a forced thing. It's much more a, hey, this is another option. This is another asset. This is another opportunity for us to help people. Starred, let me see. Phil Nealon, thanks for the Sunday show. Phil Nealon, before you go, you got to send me an email. I can't find your email anywhere in my email. I need an address. I've got your shirts. I've got shirts to go out. If you're still here, Phil Nealon, don't leave me. Where did you say you got LVP offcuts? JNYC, give me more detailed information. I want to make sure I'm answering the right question. Oh dear heavens. Some people. Martin Properties fixed a flickering light yesterday by replacing the switch. Just that easy. Love it. Good for you guys. That's awesome. Somebody's self-managing. The Bruins did win. What's up, Chester? Good job, Josh. Bulb switch compatibility. Damn LEDs. I know. True story, right? A lot of people don't know that you can buy non-dimmable LEDs. Then you put a dimmer switch on it and they turns into a strobe show if you're lucky. I answered the insurance question loud and clear. Called State Farm. State Farm is okay for a 4-plex. They said they wouldn't insure it. I don't like State Farm for anything more than a single, maybe a dupe. Nope. What I do is I'm looking for multiple brokers and I ask them what companies they represent. Because if I can get broker over here that represents 10 and I can get broker over here that represents 7 more, then I both let them know, hey, listen, I'm putting this out for a quote. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Here's all the detail that you need. And we go through the questionnaire. We give them all the data on it. And then we have them go out there and get their best price and come back to us. The key is understanding what exactly you want to do with deductibles. That's one of the keys. Let's see. T, good morning, T. Good to have you here. Lars Nielsen, good morning, sir. If you only have enough capital for a down payment and closing costs for one more building, would you buy now or wait until the fall? How much reserve should we have to prevent over leverage? So for me, based on my unit count, I have about $50,000 in reserves just in case. That again, we don't go into because we're able to repair things through cash flow. But it's impossible to tell the future. Are rates at 10 in 6 months? I'm surprised that people aren't pricing in the likelihood of an increase is just as good as the likelihood of a decrease. There's plenty of Fed governors talking about an increase. Is it just credible threat, like our good buddy Simon says from the Uneducated Economist, who's just throwing fire recently? That's the question. It's impossible to say. I believe in doing the deal that's in front of you if it's a great deal. That's it. I don't do good deals. I only do great ones. Thank you, Chester, for posting the course link. That's always awesome. Martin Properties, do you have an ongoing pest control for any of your units? I do. We have a company who comes out every other month and will come for free if we see anything. So that largely depends on what kind of a contract that you sign with them. For us, what we typically find is that if there ever becomes an issue, we address the issue, but then very often we're the ones that are able to then maintain it from there, which is okay. And that's where you have the conversation getting into it with them. and understanding. There we go. Phil. Thanks, Phil. And having the conversation with the vendor or the provider and saying, okay, when you're going through the process, don't ask all that in the last visit. Come on, guys. Come on. You got to ask it when you're going through the process with them. Okay, so what's going on there? Okay, so what are we doing? Okay, so why are we doing that? All right, so what are we hoping to see that do? Okay, how's that going to impact things? All right, and what kind of a poison are you using? I would like to better understand it. What kind of trap are you using? I would like to better understand it. You can see the traps. That's not a thing. You can see what he baits them with. That's not a thing. Usually the poison is, there's a few poisons out there. It's nasty. The poison stuff's nasty. It's nasty. There's stuff out there that can kill them in a couple of days, but this is not like, blah, blah, blah. This is much more blip, blip. And maybe days later they die. So that can be in a couple days with some of the really bad stuff out there. That can also be in 7 days when they're climbing in your walls and they decide to die there and then off gas and stink. That can happen as well. Master Coach University, great boot camp last night. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Do you maintain a storage unit for hot swapping? I don't. I actually maintain a garage in one of my properties. I just don't give the tenant access. So I have a garage that I use for hot swapping on the property because very often the garage, it's like, oh yeah, well, do we get access to the garage? No, because we're too concerned you'll put a bunch of shit in there. Sorry. Stuff. We're too concerned you'll put a bunch of stuff in there. So no. I got to get that chain noise like Caleb. That thing's awesome. Caleb Hammer. Robert Fredeli, as someone who hates government programs, at least the Section 8 is a credit toward a free market versus government-run housing. The alternative is worse. Exactly. We've seen how those developments turn out. They end up, look at Philadelphia in the 70s. PE turned RE. Good to see you. Between house hacks, what did you do with your cash? Thanks very much for the super chat. So there was really no between house hacks. I would go from one to the next, to the next, to the next. And I was doing a Burr house hack strategy. I would buy the house. I would move into it. I would renovate it. Man, maybe that's a new movement. We kind of got to stop leaving all the hard work to Dion and having his brilliance always bail us out. Yeah, that's what I would do. I would buy the house, move in, renovate, rent, and rehab. So a BIMmer. I guess we were doing BIMmers. I don't know what a BIMmer is, but that's what it is, I guess. But that's what we would do. And so there was really no cash. So it was buy it with as little money down as possible, have some cash left over, fund the actual work in the house with that cash, then refi out, but refi out as because remember at that point, rates were static. They weren't dynamic at all. They were pretty steady. But we would then refi, then we would get our cash back out, and then we would use that for the down payment and the repairs in the next one. That always worked. That always worked because housing appreciates. It doesn't need to appreciate very quickly to be able to manage that process. Because the key was a lot of times we were buying something that was vacant or in disrepair. And so we would get a massive ARV because we were making that place livable. It was rented and we were getting premium rents for it. So that's what I would do. But that's a great question, PE on our turned RE. Martin Props, you got to pick up one of those t-shirts right there. Available on Lumberjack Landlord as well. And there was a big issue. We had fulfillment doing it, and it was a nightmare, and no one was getting stuff. And there were these big, huge delays, and I wasn't getting CC'd on any of the stuff going out. It wasn't a separate line item, so it was a big, huge, chaotic nightmare. Well, literally, I have all the stock now sitting at my house. When you get that shirt, it's coming directly from me. I just could not take the inefficiency and the inefficacy of how things were going. It was just driving me absolutely bonkers. So now it's good. Now I have them all here myself. The one thing that we had to get set up with was bags and like a label maker. And so we got the bags, label makers coming, and we'll be all wrapped up. We'll be able to get everything out. So I'm very excited for that. And there's special gifts for those who waited because I apologize profusely. Julie Anderson, making soup and watching Lumberjack Landlord. I don't know that there's much better than that. I could try and top it, but I can't think of a way I would. Lars Nielsen, I hear Penguins fans wanting Marner. I love the Penguins, but our fans suck and have no idea what is needed for a team to win, as they need grittier, younger players. Marner's a great player, super talented kid, immensely talented. Great, great player. I don't know that he's the problem. He seems like a little bit of a crybaby to me, but I'd be more than happy to have him go to the Western Conference because he always scores on the Bruins. Thankfully, this series, he hasn't done that so far yet, except for once. So I feel pretty good about that. But the biggest issue that the Maple Leafs have is how they constructed the team. That's their biggest issue. It is. Just look at the team. The team has 60% of its payroll going to 4 players. Those 4 players are great players. Don't get me wrong. I would do almost anything to get Austin Matthews in a Bruins uniform. John Tavares is extremely overpaid, and I think he's a good player, but not a great player. I don't particularly think he's a great captain. And Marner is immensely talented, and Nylander is immensely talented, but look what they paid all those guys. All those guys are making over $10 million a year. But that's just me. Sorry, you got me talking hockey, and that's just a problem because I go nuts. Spidey Lover. Wait, I thought he hated Section 8. Spidey Lover. I do hate things about the program, but don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I know how to run my business, and I don't have the emotional equivalent of being an infant. So when I don't like something, I cannot like it, but then I learn my way how to manage it. And then when I learn how to manage it, then I can make it the best that it can be. It's still a proper way to diversify a large portfolio. I know guys that don't do any Section 8, and that's fine. That's fine. But they are the ones with massively deep pockets, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars cash. I'm not that guy. Not yet, anyway. My opinion, FFR is low, should be 7.25 minimum. It really should be 8.5. Again, only opinion. Yep. I don't disagree. Do you recommend coin-op washer dryer for 3 and 4 units? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Ideally, it's a service that you can offer, right? And then include it in the rent and look at doing a rent box. If you look at doing a rent box, you can look at the entire market and you can say, hey, these with washer and dryer get a little bit more than the ones without washer and dryer. Maybe it's just something where you always are the one that gets rented first. That's a value as well. So we use the all-in-ones. There's a 2.5 cubic foot washer dryer combo. There's also a 4.5 washer dryer combo. The 4.5 is about $2,000. The 2.5 is about $1,000, $1,100 thereabouts. So thank you, Master Coach, for the super chat. You're so animated today. Retirement looks good on you. Thanks, old guy REI. I think it's being a little bit punchy because boot camp was 3 hours last night, and then I got all amped up, and I sadly watched the highlights before I came down, and yeah, hockey just gets me going. Got injured about, 6-7 years ago. Haven't skated since, and so hoping to get back on the ice soon, especially with my son. Phil Nealon, Housing Authority in Alaska had a landlord appreciation program this year. $1,000 for every contract started or renewed. I decided to do a tenant appreciation program and split it with them. Very cool. Go ahead. Tell me landlords are a bunch of trolls and don't give back. Yeah. Bye. Be gone with you people. Phil, good for you. Good on you, my friend. Good on you. Walter Rentals. Love the name. I do. It's good. It's good. Love that name too. Yep. A burr hack. Yes. A burr hack. Lars Nielsen, I agree that rates can go up, and I think only reason why it hasn't happened yet is because the Fed doesn't want a bunch of community banks to fail. Totally agree with that. Another one failed this last week. There's going to be more failures. There absolutely are. And again, people need to look at it and keep it in perspective. While that is a decent sized bank that failed, it is 32 locations. It's 32 locations. I think Bank of America has 32 locations in our state. So the feds are doing what the feds do. The programs are what they are. The assets have already been put onto another bank, and control has already been put to another bank, and they are managing it. There were good operators in this market during the great health event. There were great operators and there were bad operators. There's ones that completely changed their business to meet the needs of the market at that time, but they put themselves at risk in the future. Those people are going to fail. Some people won't. Way to go. Spidey Lover says, Hyder, it's a love-hate relationship. True. It's just about recognizing there's a downside to every type of tenant out there. There is a downside, but there's also an upside. What's the downside to an 800 credit, or what's the downside to an 800 credit score holder that makes 5x the rent? Is there a downside? Bet your butt there is. they're a huge pain in the ass and they think they're special because their credit score told them so. Yep. Their credit card told them. I get more issues with 800 credit score guys than I do with 500 credit score guys. But the 500 credit score guys, it's very funny because there usually has to be an exception. Like we say, here's what our credit number is. But if they can prove that it was, something, again, we don't look at healthcare bankruptcy, right? We don't look at healthcare bills. People get sick. Sometimes they didn't have insurance. That's the way it goes. Most hospitals are going to work something out with you, or they're going to give it a charge off, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But most of those places will work with you. So that's just something to consider. Wealth of rentals. Can you talk about what is considered an easement on a property, how to find out what to consider? So an easement on a property very often comes from like a sewer line, as an example. A sewer line goes across somebody's property, your sewer line. There is an easement on there which basically says, hey, my sewer line goes through that property and I may need access to that. Essentially, that's what it is. It's stating that there's something that people need access to. So as an example, sometimes for driveways to get access to a back lot, sometimes they'll put an easement on a piece of land to give people access that need access to something. But again, that's recorded in the deed. And usually it's an agreement at one time or another where you agree with like a city. I've had somebody do that where they said, hey, we got a sewer line that's running through here. It's a lot of times around sewer lines or it's around access, but they basically just say we want an easement on that land to make sure that we know that if there's a problem that we can gain access. And so it allows them to gain that level of access. Hey, Dylan, good morning, sir. Good to have you here. The only thing to consider is, does it drastically adverse the usability of your property? That's really what it comes down to. Because then that's a wealth hit. However, the key is understanding what that real impact is. Because in the most case, it's not a real impact. Heard butcher block for class CB isn't great for countertops. What do you think? I was recommended laminate. I disagree. So the only way that I can tell you is what did they say? They just disagree, but do they actually have any facts? And my guess is they're not using FDA grade epoxy. That's my guess. My guess is they're just further back in the landlord game than I am. That's my guess. Yep. Let's see. I got the shirts at the ORAD event. They were awesome. Awesome. Love it. Dylan, what color countertops and cabinets do you want? Kitchen and bathroom? Do they change anything? I want what I really want is quality, and I want durable, and I want usually white because that gives me the ability to paint the room any colors I want. When paint schemes go in and out, grays or blues or whatever, or creams, when any of those colors go in and out, the white goes with everything. And espresso cabinets don't go with everything, and gray cabinets don't go with everything. So you're better off going with a white cabinet and using that as the accent point. Trade better for your Section 8 vouchers. Do you cover utilities or do you have the tenants cover their own? Almost all of them cover their own. Some of them don't, but almost all do. Yeah, almost all do. I'm not underwriting their being home and using more utility than what I'm getting paid for. In the areas where I pay the stuff, in the areas where I pay that stuff, I want them paying for it. I don't want to pay for it. Don't want to pay for it. In fact, we have somebody's lease renewing and we're actually going to change it because now they're in the position where they can pay those bills. So yeah, now we're going to change it. 66 people. I hope you guys are hitting that like button for me only if I'm doing a good job. And if you think I'm doing a horrible job, then ask me a better question. Master Coach University, building freestanding ADUs seems like they'd cost as much as a brand new purchase. So when would you build one? They don't, only because you're not having to buy the land, and the land is usually the most expensive component. So it is important to do the work and understand, but that's where I'm trying to go down the path of, the modular homes and things like that. Because if you can buy something that's already done that meets the energy standards, and then basically all I have to pay for is pouring a slab and then the impact fees of the house and then the sewer connection fees, all I have to pay is that stuff. Well, then that puts me in a much better position, doesn't it? So that's where I think the ADU thing can really win, is because you don't have to buy the land. And in most places, land's expensive. Again, it depends on what you're putting up. But for me, I think it's bring utilities to a slab, have the slab there, and then you have everything you need, and then you can put whatever house you want there. I think the rest of the build, yeah, framing it, insulating it, wiring it, doing all of that stuff, I think is going to be expensive. I know it's expensive because I do it. But that's where I think the ability to do that in like a modular home, not mobile, modular meaning parts and pieces and put together, mobile meaning it's on wheels. I want modular homes that I can just plop on those spaces. Wellfleet Rentals. I think you can check your county assessor for filed easements. You can just check you can also check the deed. It should be on the deed. MJ5. Hi, Matt. Any questions for removing stains from granite countertops? Ugh. I don't have any recommendations on removing stains from granite. A lot of time when granite is stained, it's stained because it's now actually seeped into the actual stone. That's a tough one. Sorry, MJ5. That's a tough one. What do you have backsplash made of? Just countertops? No, I don't do butcher block for backsplash. Too expensive. I use tin as we talk about in my series, in my course. We talk about tin and what we order and how to manage it and how to use it and how to install it, all of that stuff. Dylan, do you have trim on ceilings and floors in rooms, or how do you determine where not to? In a typical rental, I wouldn't put crown molding in. Yes, thank you again, Master Poach. Good morning, Lumberjack. Give yourself a raise. I like that. That's good. Oh, Buzztune. Hey, thanks so much for the super sticker. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. Hyder, need to get on the ice too. Yeah, I mean, it's just I got a really bad ankle injury and pinched nerve in my ankle, and it was not good. And so now the ankle's still kind of weak, and I've done rehab for it and PT for it and all that other stuff. And just afraid that as soon as I step out there, I'm going to look like a brand new skater and fall flat on my face. And I'm too big now to fall. Anything you would recommend to have in an operating agreement? Nope, because I don't do operating agreements. I don't have any partners. Nope. So I'm the wrong guy for that. The best people for that is multifamily strategy, because I don't do operating agreements. Mr. Nice Guy 423. Have you ever picked up materials yourself when getting a new roof? Yes. If so, did this save you a significant amount on your new roof? Significant, you have to quantify, right? Usually no, because a lot of times the guys that are actually buying stuff, what you can do is you can ask them, hey, what kind of materials you're going to use on this? And then they will tell you. And then you can say, hey, I want to buy the materials, and then I'll have them there ready for you. Right. And then, so you could ask them, what is your number for just doing install? So you can ask them that. And it's completely within your right. I don't know that you'll see a huge difference. I don't know that you'll see a huge difference, because I can, you can't pick them up yourself. I would actually have them delivered. So the lumber yard or wherever you're going to buy that stuff, or the company that you're going to buy that stuff, once you order it, usually they'll give you a free delivery, or they'll give you $100 delivery charge. The question is how much is the roofer making on that? It really just depends. Some of them won't be willing to install your stuff. Some of them will. So that's something you should definitely shop for sure. But yeah, it could make a difference. Lars Nielsen. I know Marner is a good player, but he is too soft and makes too much money, as the Penguins are too top heavy as well. Agreed. That was the whole reason that the Penguins did win championships a ton of years in a row. When Gino was actually really awesome and Crosby was really awesome, Crosby's still a great player. Gino's much less of a player. And then they had to give up, and then they oversigned Letang, and they just made some bad signings, because you draft guys and you get guys like Gensel and players like that who are really good players. But they had to let him go because he's going to be a salary cap issue. So, yeah. The Penguins fans want a hockey card, not a team, made up of 4 lines and 2 goalies. A true story. That's true. That's why the Bruins, they didn't used to be top heavy at all. Now they're a little bit more top heavy because, Pasternak is a top 5 goal scorer in the league. Charlie McAvoy, I just think they overpaid him. I think he's a very good player, but I think they overpaid him. I don't think he's worth $11 million a year. Buzztune, for continual new and updated resources, how do you find them? Do you have set searches every week? Thanks, Matt. For continual new and updated resources. No, I think it's experiential, Mike. I think that's a great question. I think it's very experiential. And what I mean by that is the reason why I think I'm worth following or subscribing to, not following. The reason I think I'm worth subscribing to, they call it followers, subscribers, whatever. The reason I think I'm worth that is because with having 145 units, with the fact that I self-manage, with the fact that I do gut rehabs or lipstick rehabs. I've done lead orders. I've bought every type of way possible, whether it's wholesale, retail, from a buyer's agent, from a FSBO, from a tax lien, from a tax deed, from a city, I'm trying to think of, literally every way possible to buy, I've bought. I've purchased something that way. So I can only talk about the things that I know about, that I experienced. I have housing choice voucher tenants, otherwise known as Section 8. I have market tenants. I have families. I have students. I have traveling nurses. I have. So I only talk about the stuff that I know. So I think that's why I'm worth the follow, is because I'm in my business every single day. I can tell you right now today what a 9-socket meter bank costs for Siemens. It's about $12,000. How do I know that? It's because I shopped for one last week. So I think that's really the key, is I'm up to date. I'm in it every single day. And frankly speaking, I'm probably more in it than any of you. So that's where I think the new resources come, is you got to follow, like Zoob is a perfect example of this daily financial news. Perfect example. He's doing 2 or 2.5 hours of reading no matter what. So he brings that time saver to the market and says, hey, here you go. I know how to read this stuff. I know how to interpret it. Here are my feelings on it, but here's the data. You make your decision. I manage all my properties. And so I know if there's a new product that's not working very well, or if it's a new product that is working well, or if old stuff is failing, or water heaters. Is this brand going down the dumps? Is this appliance going down the dumps? How many calls have I had on this specific thing? So all of that stuff, that's where the extra value comes in, I believe, is because I live it every single day. Every single day. I've already gotten 4 text messages today about landlording stuff. I know that my agent, my amazing agent right now, I know she's in properties doing showings from like 10 to 5 today, because we have 4 more units coming available for June 1. So that's a great question, Buztoon. It really comes down to, you want to find people that are doing all the work that you might not be able to get to. And then when something is of interest, then you follow up on that. For me, I've built a lot of businesses. And I've taken them from, basically nothing to tens of millions of dollars. And the only way that you do that is by really understanding your market, really understanding what's going on, what your service offers that others don't, or what service you need to offer that others don't. So that's one of the biggest skills in building a company. And I think there's no way to Google what you don't, or find out what you don't know until you're following down the path of something that you don't know. And then it's a learning process for you. So yeah, that's the best I could give you, I guess. Martin Properties. How do you underwrite your deals? I was using a house hacking calculator, but recently found for a company called Deal Check. Anyone here use it? Haven't used Deal Check before, so I can't speak on them specifically, but the deals for me are really straightforward to underwrite. If I'm doing a house hack, I just want to know what that unit that I'm going to live in, what I want to run a rent box on that unit. That's what I do. And if I run a rent box on that unit and I know what the other unit already rents for, or I run a rent box on that unit, then I actually know. I did a video with Dion in the members only group. If you're a member there, you need to go check out the video. But I'm going to do my own video. I wanted to save it for him and for the amazing people that are members on his channel. But I'll do a full deal breakdown. I think we close on Tuesday. I'll do a full deal breakdown sometime this week where I'll take you through step by step. Hey, here are the numbers. This is what I believe this building to be. And I underwrote the deal. And quite frankly, I think the deal is probably one of the best in my career. One of the best in my investing career. And what's ironic is almost every one of the deals I've done in the last 2 years has been one of the best in my career. Doing this for a long time gets you very far. Listening to somebody doing this for a long time, or having done this for a long time, gets you very far. It's a huge value. So yeah, that's what I love. I mean, honestly, I listen to Christian Osgood, multifamily strategy. I listen to him because he does stuff that I don't do. I listen to Dion because he does stuff that I didn't do. I didn't do Section 8 before Dion. I had one tenant that was Section 8 and they were inherited. After talking with Dion, after talking with Zoob, yeah, I do Section 8. I'm still learning, but I find something and I pursue. Matt's course, you'll learn something about called the rent box. Yes, sir. Thanks, Wealth Building Journey. Appreciate that. Dylan McMahon got in touch with an owner this week who built 250 units by himself, he claims. Okay. That's good. It's always good to make contacts. Master Coach, do you care at all about your unit's square footage? No. How do you figure it out? I measure each room and then I add it up. And that's not being facetious. That's not giving you a hard time. Legit, you can find it on the tax card. On every tax card, they usually have square footage of the building and they also have square footage of the lot. That's the easy way. Sometimes that's wrong. So I actually go in and then I'll measure off the square footage. Let's see. Martin Properties, do you allow pools in your yards? I don't. It can get hot here in the summer and I realize I don't have anything in my lease about pools. Yep, I don't. If insurance stops by and sees them there, they will threaten to drop you. You'll get a love note in the mail for sure. Dylan, why butcher block? He said it's more expensive. Hey, Dylan, I don't know what he's using in his units, but I don't put Formica in my units. This isn't a slam on you. It's more of a slam on him. I don't like Formica. It's a crappy product. It's ugly. And it's not more expensive. If you buy good quality Formica, it's more expensive than butcher block. And this is where the value of my having done as many units as I have, this is where the value comes in. You can buy slabs for $200 to $300 a slab. And Formica, if you order it and you get a specific color or a decent product or whatever, it can be $800 for a slab, $700 for a slab. No joke. So yeah, I just vehemently disagree with him based on actual experience and knowing that I'm probably one of the best buyers in the market for any product. Because I will spend a month or two looking everywhere, researching everything, understanding everything about it, just like Dion does. That's why his content is so good, is because if he's coming and talking to you about something, he's done a ton of research. I'm the same way. So it's not more expensive. And I will, if you want, you can ask him, would you like to challenge the lumberjack landlord at a kitchen build off to see who can build? And there has to be 3 criteria. 1 is cost, 2 is quality, and then goes to a vote by people that would view it. So I am more than happy to challenge him. More than happy to. I will win every single time. Guaranteed. I'll even bet on money. That's what I think we should do. You guys get behind that idea. What do you guys think about that idea? BD Rentals and Investment Properties. Always enjoy your content. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I think that's Kevin. Let me know if I'm wrong. Sorry, Kevin. Master Coach, Matt covers how to document your unit in the course. Well done alone. Yeah, thanks very much, Chester. Master Coach is actually in the class, and I think we actually go to, do we already cover documenting your unit, or is that coming next? I can't remember. I think we might have already covered it, but we can certainly cover it. But yeah, documenting your unit. I show you guys how to, take the different pictures, manage the square footage. It's all in there. Mr. Nice Guy 423. Sorry, I missed you. I replaced my tenant's bathroom vanity top due to hairline cracks around the drain. I did not install the old vanity top. The new one I installed has the same hairline cracks around the drain. A lot of times they do. Yeah, sorry. A lot of times they do. Yep. Yeah. It's just, it's a mold thing. It's a mold thing. They pour those molds and then then that comes out and then they pull it out. And sometimes you can see little tiny hairline cracks. Just one of those things. Doesn't mean it's bad, but it can happen. Peter M. Hey, Matt, for the HUD 24 amounts you showed us, do these amounts include the landlord paying all utilities? If so, how much should I adjust down if the tenant will pay? So when they're in there sharing a voucher, I don't believe that you can, but that's okay. Because you saw how crazy the numbers still get. I don't know that though. I have not done it because when you compound 3 units or even 2 units, the amount that gets paid for utilities, I haven't seen that surpass. It's just like because the rent is so high because the base is so high. Hopefully that covers it. Master Coach, he covers square footage. Don't remember that. Have to review. Yeah, if you look at how to document the unit, basically all you do is you drop a measuring tape this way in the unit and this way in the unit. And then whatever. So if it's 10 by 10, well, that's obviously 100 square feet. And then you can always take those measurements, bring them online, and then you can figure out, if you can't figure out, if you don't know how to do square feet yourself, it's just the number of feet times the number of feet, and that's your square footage. That's what I do. Sometimes if you have inches, the other thing you can do too is like it's 10 feet 6 inches by 10 feet 2 inches. Well, I just do 124 inches, 126 inches, excuse me. Or excuse me, no, 122 because it's 10 feet by 12 inches. So it's 120 inches plus the 2, it's 124 inches times the 10 feet 6 inches, which is 126. And then you can get your square inches, and then you say this many square inches equals this many square feet. That's how you can also do it. So yes, all very much there. Master Coach, let me know if you don't find it in there. Insourcing module, my favorite, still saves me gobs of cash. Phil Nealon for the win. That's what I'm talking about. Love it. Insourcing for the win. Love it. Martin Properties. I'm in the course, Chester. Yeah, haven't gone over it in a while. Looks like I need to go over it again. All good, Martin. All good, my friend. All good, Josh. All good. Yeah, it's still there. It's still available to you. Jump right back in. It's there. Wealth with rentals. I talked to County Environmental, and they said I need 1,500 square feet for a drip septic system and 8,000 for an aerobic system. The good thing about these are options when the current conventional system fails. Sure. Yep. You can always talk to them about what's asked for, but in most states, what I would be doing is I wouldn't be talking to the county or to environmental. They are going to send you down the expensive path every single time because it's not their money and they don't know what they're talking about. Always what the better bet is talking to the other local installers in the area and saying, I'm going to need this done anyway. In our state, the way that it works is the plans have to be stamped. So almost everybody does a septic plan for about $1,500 to $1,800. So I talk to a bunch of different people and say, hey, based on what we're looking at here, what kind of system would you recommend? But I also have found out, have you guys done systems in this town in the last few years? That's where network really plays the game. Because you're having that conversation, you're saying, hey, how many have you done in this town? Well, I've done 10 in the last 2 years. Cool. So they know about all the rules. Isn't that awesome? Right? Lumberjack Landlord, check this spine realignment device on Amazon. I got it and have been using it. Life-changing. Yeah, I'm leaning only I lean over out of habit. I actually am good. Chester. Is it spine because of my ankle? My ankle's totally isolated to my ankle. Yeah, it's actually a pinched nerve in my ankle. That was the Dickens to fix without surgery. Dylan, why not crowd molding in Class B and C? Because it costs money and it doesn't add any money to rent. That's the straightforward answer. Thanks, Mr. Nice Guy. Wealth building with rentals. A subdivision says it is for a single family homes, yet I see from the subdivision Facebook group that there are some duplexes, and I was surprised. Is that normal, or are they just relaxed HOA indeed? It does happen all the time. You just need to ask the town because there was likely a variance approved. So I just asked the town what happened there. So I just talked to code enforcement. Hey, so this was approved. I'd like to understand why that got approved there and do the same thing. MG. Hey, Matt. Hey, MG. Good to have you here. Welcome to the channel. Trade Better. Recommend you YouTube knees over toes guys for your ankle exercise. Thank you for all your help. Trade Better. Absolutely. I've actually seen those guys before. So it's pretty strong now. But yeah, there's still that like fear because I'm a big guy and that skate blade is that tiny. I'm bigger now than when I was skating. Wealth of rentals. Is there other than Tim as a cheap backsplash material? There is, but I don't really like them. There's like the plastic lookalikes that you can put in behind it. Don't really love those. They're like $20 for a 2x2 square or a 2 foot by 18 inch or 18 inch by 18 inch square. Fits right underneath the cabinet. You can put them in there. You can do it. You can DIY that, but don't really love it. I still think the tin's the way to go because you're a couple of bucks a square foot for unfinished tin, and then you can make it whatever color you want. So there's other materials out there, but nothing that I particularly like or love. You can also go tile. And you can usually tile the backsplash yourself too. It's not super hard to do. From a tile perspective, because it's such a limited space. It's only 18 inches. But yeah, it's not, it's absolutely something that's doable for sure. MG, I believe you like red oak for flooring. I do. But did you not hear you like, do you talking tile. Tile is pretty durable and relatively cheap. What is your thought on tile flooring? I like tile flooring. The reason I don't do tile flooring is because where I'm located. If you're in the southern US or West Coast or in really hot areas, tile guys, there's a ton of them. A ton of them. There's some here, but they're very, very, very expensive for my cost to put down. So red oak installed, fully installed, polyurethane and finished. So install, sanded, 2 coats of poly with a buff and a final coat. I'm about $8 a foot installed, $7.50 to $8 a foot installed for everything. LVP, if you figure product and install, and padding and everything, I'm probably about $5 a foot installed. But tile is 15 bucks a foot installed. It's extremely expensive here. Yeah, it's extremely expensive here. And frankly speaking, just not worth it. It's not as easy to fix. Like when tile gets dirty, so you can clean it. Floors get dirty, you can clean them. Floors get scratched, you can screen them and repoly it. Tile gets scratched, you're screwed. Tile breaks, you're screwed. You have to actually have leftover tile. So the resilience of red oak or wood like that over over tile, that's really the difference. In other climates, like I said, southwestern and even south, yeah, Florida, a lot of houses have mostly tile. That's why you find tile guys at $5 to $7 a foot a lot of times, and people buying tile. Up here, it's $15 a square foot. It's too expensive. What is your favorite product to get rid of? Basement mold. Ooh, that's a good question. What is the favorite product to get rid of basement mold? You have to be careful with mold. Definitely want to mask up and use all that stuff. And then you don't want to be cleaning up too much of it. If it's too big, you need to get somebody else to come in. If it's like a spot here or there, you can do it. But any of the spray products, clean them up, spray them down. A lot of times we've then bleached the area, and then we'll seal it. So that's usually what we do. So it depends on what product it's on. Christian does not use Butcher Block, but he's mostly in C&D units in Moses Lake, I believe. And he's probably not priced it out. All due respect to Christian, it's probably not priced it out. I'm happy to show it to him. But yeah, I'll go against anybody that says that they can do a kitchen cheaper than me of same quality. It just can't happen. Doesn't happen. Been doing this for 20 years. All I do is win, win, win. Let's see. Funny. Was just making sure it wasn't the agent. It's not the agent. That's the good news. Not the agent. Just double checking. Just making sure. Just making sure. Hold on one second here. Okay, cool. Good. And we do. So the other thing too is that when you do the number of rehabs that we do, and we're looking at. Oh my goodness, dear God, what is this? Okay, now you need to get blocked. Hold on, I just gotta figure out how to block somebody. They're wasting my time. So some troll didn't like what I had to say on here, so he decided to come on here and there we go. Yep, block. Ban. There we go. Somebody didn't like something I had to say on the live stream, so I decided to blow up my social media. It's fine. Watch this. Boom. Dead. What 3 events on a real estate investment you made could lead you to turn and burn the asset? Ooh, look up. Always with the really good questions. Good job. Wow, that's a good question. Whew. I would say, real estate investment that would lead you to turn and burn the asset. If I saw the taxes going up too quickly and I was in like something that was a lot of it comes from a low margin deal, right? If I was in a deal that was a low margin deal and it's just something that hasn't performed, or it's a unit. So two things from that. One is if I had low margin and now all of the expenses are going up so quickly because the city's raising taxes, they're raising water and sewer rates, they're raising, trash pickup rates. Before I would sell the asset, I would try and push that onto the tenant because they're the ones using that stuff. So it can be, I don't like the direction that the city that I have something in is going. It could be significantly increased crime, but it's usually something around the city and fees and the environment of the city. That's the first thing. Let's see. Second thing would be, for whatever reason, a building that you have is just always got turnover and you never know. And you ask tenants, but you always are getting bad tenants. You're always, people are not paying, or they're getting evicted out of that building. I have 20 evictions, right? So I have 20 evictions. Give me just 1 second here. Give me a second here. Cool. I have 20 evictions. Because I have 20 evictions over the 22 years I've done this, 10 of them or 11 of them were from the emergency rental assistance program. People literally couldn't pay as soon as the program was over. So 11 of my 20 are from that. What's the most interesting is the 11 of 20 from that leaves me with 9. 7 of the 9 were one specific building that I sold. 7 of the 9. Don't know what it was. That thing was just a revolving door. It was like we'd get somebody in there. They looked pretty good. And we're like, oh, yeah, this is going to be good. And so I don't know if it was the neighborhood. I don't know if it was the neighbors. I don't know if it was noise. Every single time somebody would leave. Again, it was one of those things where they would just go incommunicado and I ended up having to evict them. So that's a great question. But yeah, so I think it's costs continue to increase and the city is not run properly. Second thing is the actual asset that itself, for some reason, just kind of has a constant turnover. Or the third thing is I have so much margin in the asset, it just makes sense to sell it and take that money and 1031 and redeploy it into multiple properties, like I did with my $1 million challenge on my channel. I bought something for $250. I put 50 or 60 grand into it. I sold it for $550 because I knew what I was buying in the under market asset and they had to have a quick sale. I got the thing I got the thing done. And then when I sold it for $550, I then took those proceeds and I put it into 3 other buildings that were worth more than $1 million. So there was nothing wrong with that asset, but that asset was what I used to help grow the business. So those would be the top 3. That's a great question. Great question. Wealth with rentals. Is buying from auctions nowadays a poor source of finding good deals? No, because now you have got a lot of people looking and the price gets way higher. It's just like anything else, though. You're disciplined in what you know what the property's worth. You're disciplined in how you're managing your money and how you would buy the asset. I've bought tons of stuff that was a great deal through an auction. Yep, tons. Auction.com, Zome, HUD. HUD has their own. I bought a bunch of stuff through all of their sites. A bunch, meaning, I don't know, probably 8 to 10 deals that way. I think that's a bunch. I can ask him if don't think he would. I can ask him if don't think he would. I don't think he would do it. That's okay. I'm happy to do it. I think stuff like that's fun competition. Just because kitchen off sounds awesome. Thanks, Phil Nealon. I know what I'm doing. I've rehabbed a lot more units than most people. But more importantly is I'm an operator. And so I understand cost structure better than anybody. And I know how to get stuff for less expensive. So I'd love to do it. Happy to do it. I think that's per auction. All-nighter hider. I think that's per auction. The auction I attend has sharks as regulars. Exactly. If they don't bid on a property, there's usually a good reason. So there's 2 things. One is there's absolutely sharks out there and they will only do it at an amazing deal, right? Because they've got so much money. They're just looking for the next great deal that's worth their time. There are people in there where it's still a deal. So as an example, somebody doing their first or second or third property and they're buying it through an auction, they're willing to pay more than a person like me in my position because I need a great deal if I'm going to do that deal. That's usually the difference. Phil Nealon, Dion cheated and used old guy REI. We call that innovative. Who's this guy? I'm the winner, bro. Who's this guy? I'm the winner. I want to see if you actually have anything to say other than who's this guy. You got anything, pal? Who's this guy? Nah, you don't got anything. You're lame. Time out. Next time you get banned, dipstick. Let's see. People love the butcher block. Every prospective tenant rubs their greasy hands all over it. It's so true. It's so true. Hey, Dylan, you should ask that person, has any tenant ever said that the laminate counters that they put in were nice? We're trying to curate a different experience. That's why my renters and my rentals stay, and my rentals rent out faster than other people's. That's why they do it. You might be in a unique market like Dion is, where a rehab unit doesn't make any more money than a non-rehab unit, which, Dion, I still don't believe. But let's just say it's possible. And if that's possible, then yeah, over improving a unit, then you're over improving at that point. But yeah, I do. I mean, guys, show him 2 Whittier Falls Way in Dover, New Hampshire. 2 Whittier Falls Way in Dover, New Hampshire. Show him that property. I did that kitchen with granite for 12 grand. No one's doing that kitchen for less than 20. I've shown kitchen designers that couldn't do that kitchen for 20. I've got secrets. That's what's in the course. That's what I share with my people. Yes. If you want Matt's electronic key lock, only $30 at Home Depot right now, usually $45. Thank you very much, Robert Farinelli, for bringing that up. You can post a link. I think you have the ability to post a link, but post a link if you want. Let's see. Wealth building journey, pure value. Guys, pay attention to what Dion said about absolute gold. Oh, thank you very much. And Dion's awesome. Dion's the best. I love working with Dion. Furnish Finder, okay. Midterm rentals, yep. Martin Properties, people love the butcher block, yep, agreed. Wealthwood Rentals, how do you manage split AC units? Is it per room or more, and you can share one for multiple rooms? It is a lot for one bedroom. I'm not sure what you mean. If it's a window unit, then yeah, they would probably likely both have window units. You can get into monitoring. You can get into monitoring and actually managing things that way. You can. There's an amazing part of the course where one of our students, Chris Culp, actually did an amazing presentation in there on metering and sub-metering water, as well as sub-metering electricity and gas. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Yep, absolutely fantastic stuff. Let's see. Luke Devine, can you tell me a sneak peek on how getting rehabs paid for? Can you tell me a sneak peek on how you're getting rehabs paid for? Oh yeah, construction loans. Construction loans. Absolutely. Yep, no secret. I tell about it all the time. Robert Farinelli. And here I am pissed at myself. I could only do an 8-mile moderate terrain walk in 2 hours, 40 minutes. I think I'm old and crippled. Bro, you're a hiker. I'm not a hiker. Nope. I lift things up and I put them down. Really good at heavy things. I have jacked up hands, like scars all over my hands from lifting up really heavy things and dropping them, or them pulling skin or whatever kind of gross stuff. But yeah. Do you like LVP glue down? No. Bathrooms and kitchen in Texas, LVP or tile? LVP. Is there something better? I mean, it kind of depends. Like I said, I mean, the nice thing, again, and not to be insensitive, but the fact of the matter is that, there's not a huge migrant worker population in New Hampshire. They're all still in Texas, or a lot of them are, or New York. So you can get guys in these massive crews that are studs at what they do, and they're willing to work for a fraction of the price. And we don't get that. Vinegar kills mold and spores, then prime with bins. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and you can, vinegar works. A lot of times the bleach works, but it can be more harsh. But yeah, whatever you're done, like I said, we seal it with a bins or a Zinsser or something like that. Absolutely right. I'm in multifamily course now, going to do yours next. Do you think I'll need to learn outside of that? Insurance, bookkeeping, legal? No, I mean, I didn't take any courses for insurance, bookkeeping, or legal. I mean, you shouldn't be doing anything legal yourself anyway. That's why you got to put an attorney on retainer. They just won't answer your questions for free. So the most important thing is you can learn the attorney side of things or the legal side of things by sitting in court and watching attorneys. That's one of the things that I did. That's how I learned the legal side. On the insurance side, I just worked with multiple brokers and would ask them questions between all of them, and then would check that with the other people, just like you've done here with live streams with myself and with Multifamily Strategy and those guys, and Dion, and bookkeeping is pretty straightforward. Expense out and what it's for, and then just having a good tax company. That's really what it comes down to. I got 4 more minutes before I got to go for my amazing students. Anywhere on the video on how to show you how to do butcher block? Yes, actually, Chris, I thought I sent it to you. It might not have gone through because of the size, but let me. Hopefully I'll see you in the course. I'm glad you're here. Hopefully I'll see you in the course because I'll send it to you. I did get them. Yeah, I do have them. Show the time lapse camera of exactly how it's done. Let's see. All Nighter Hider. Here's a link to lender guys you can check out. I would love feedback and opinions. Lenzen. Here's a link to a lender you guys can check out. Okay, lender. Cool. Very cool. Great reply, Matt. Thank you, sir. Oh, look up. You're very welcome. My pleasure. Truly. Hamed Khan. Are all Section 8 tenants criminal? No, not at all. My 3 Section 8 tenants are criminals. So they're not all criminals by any stretch. I think that the program does get some undeserved flack. They do, just based on the numbers, they call more than my market tenants. Their utility bills are higher than my market tenants. But very often it's somebody that is on disability and also qualifies for Section 8. But there are plenty of people that have jobs that are on Section 8. And I find them to be fantastic tenants. I think a lot of them, a lot of them are great. But again, my worst tenants are largely part of that population. My worst tenants are, but they're not criminals, not by any stretch. No. Look up that hearty laugh. Felt that good vibe all the way over here inside the Hava Dome. Why don't I like LVP glue down? Because it's a pain in the ass to fix. All Nighter Hider. Wow. Looked up from shaving my head to see quite the moderation I missed. Elizabeth G. It's hard to get labor workers in Houston. Yeah, I think it's hard kind of all the way around to get skilled labor, so you have to teach them. Angel R. Howdy, Matt. What's up, Angel? How much of gross rent did you put aside when starting out? 15 or 20%? I put aside almost nothing. Yeah, it was more like 5%. Yep, it was more like 5%. That was kind of a mistake, but that's what I did. I put away 5%, and I just would always tell you guys exactly what I did. Wasn't probably a good thing, but I had great credit. I had a credit card. If anything came up, and so I could, if something came up and it was $1,000 or $3,000 or $5,000, I could put it on a credit card. So that's what I did. And then I would just increase, and then I would just take the profit from the building, and then I would pay that down. So I get that back down to zero. So I then had the expandability there. Ben Fopel. I love it. Who should I bring on my inspections? Main plumber, electrician? Yes. Yep. That's who I bring. I mean, the thing is that on inspections, like until you get really comfortable, I hired an inspection company because I want somebody else to also be liable. It cost me a few $100. But I also got my plumber there, and I didn't get my electrician there this time, but I got my plumber there, and then me. And that worked pretty well. Home Depot is having a butcher block sale on my way. Do it, dude. Do it. Make sure that when you buy it, because it comes in plastic with cardboard on the sides. When you get it home and you open it up, make sure it looks good. If, tilt it up, see the edge. We've gotten a couple that were like literally wavy, It takes way too much time to repair them. You just got to put it back and bring it back and fix it, or exchange it. Excuse me, exchange it. All-nighter hider. I have to sat in a random court proceedings. It's really interesting. Yeah, I too have sat in. Yeah, they're amazing. They're amazing. They're absolutely worth doing. Ben Fogle, do you like to sync bathroom fans to the light switch? I usually leave it as is. If I'm doing it brand new, I put them both on the same. Yes, both on the same. Yep. Look up. Great information from you, Matt, and all in conversations. Very cool. I appreciate the show. Look up. I'm always happy to have you ask great questions. Dylan McMahon, thanks for your time, Matt. You guys are very welcome. Old REI, good to see you. Ahmed Khan, what does your course cover? How much does it cost? So all of the information is there on the link. I think Wealth Building Journey, did you just post that thing? There you go. Yep, Wealth Building Journey posted it. The entire syllabus is in there, and we cover everything in that syllabus and then some. The boot camp, you guys can jump in and attest to. We go at least 2 hours every single week, and that's what I'm jumping to now is the boot camp. It is worth its weight in gold because I think you can have Wealth Building Journeys, BuzzTune, Old REI Guy, Wealth Building Journey. There's a ton of people on here who have been in the boot camp. It's worth its weight in gold. It's literally at least 24 hours with me. And I get Robert Fiolinelli too. I prefer fans not on a switch and just using a remote. Yes, I prefer the switch, and the reason why is remotes will go missing very often with tenants, and they're a pain in the ass to replace. But that is a great point. Laura Ceremony, thanks so much for sharing the time and sharing your knowledge. Laura, always a pleasure. Glad to see you. But yeah, you can check out the syllabus. It's all out there. But yeah, 24 hours is what we do in the boot camp. The course is about 9.5 hours of recorded content, and it's 24 hours of boot camp content, which is live with me right now every Saturday and every Sunday. And we teach a lot. Ben Fogle, thanks, Matt. Just got an offer accepted on a house hack side-by-side duplex. Love it. Love it. Love it. Currently a 4-2 on each side, but there's a basement room that just needs egress and closet door. Make it a 5-2 in a college town. Oh, dear heavens. Oh, my word. Ben Fogle, congratulations. Money. That is so much money, dude. Good for you, Ben. Good for you. I'm so excited for you. That's great. Financial firefighter. Thank you. The course and the boot camp are worth it. Thank you very much, Chester. Course and boot camp, essential learning. Thank you, BuzzTune. Appreciate that. Dylan McMahon, have a good week. You as well. But Dylan, have a great week. Look up. Blessings, farewell. Thank you, sir. You as well. Nice work. I know, Ben. Bam. Boom. Awesome. Oh, awesome. That is so awesome. Guys, Ben crushed it. Doing the work. Getting the deal. 4-2 on each side. And then he's going to be able to add another bedroom. Oh, my goodness gracious me. You know what? If the college thing doesn't work out for that particular unit, you got to be calling H-1B visa companies because they will pay about the same as a college student because they need good housing and they need density. They need a lot of people in one space. Guys, have an absolutely fantastic week. As always, I greatly appreciate you being a part of this amazing quest that we are all on. Always appreciate you guys. Appreciate spending time with you. Hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic week, and I will catch you guys in the next one. And for my students, let's get into it, guys. We got 2 hours of fun to have together. Next week, I was actually going to get to it. I actually have a bunch of Butcher Block samples, which would have been great to bring up during this broadcast since somebody doubts the beauty of the Butcher. But I'll share it next week. And then, like I said, I'm happy to see the numbers on quality for Formica. But if you're just buying junk Formica, you're going to be replacing that and my stuff. You never do. H-1Bs, an H-1B visa is when a company hires somebody from outside the U.S. Their job in bringing that worker to the U.S. is that they have to provide them safe and clean housing. And so I work with companies that need to get housing in given areas, in my areas that I have ownership of property in, and we get them in there. So does witness protection pay well? Don't know. No, I'm teasing. I have no idea. Guys, have a fantastic week. We'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.